What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Pulse of the Cosmos. This is your daily astrology horoscope for Friday, June 12th of 2020. So, a lot going on today. We have still so much water. The moon is going to be still in Pisces today, transiting over Mars, transiting over Neptune before she gets ready to come into Aries tomorrow. But, and she's going to be going through her third quarter square over to the sun. So there is a sense of stress in the atmosphere right now. There's a sense of stress within yourself. There's a sense of stress within the congruency between your inner and outer worlds. That's what we're looking at with the third quarter square of the moon being our kind of inner world and the sun being our outer world. And there can be, with the square angle, right? It's like a square off. There's something like within that needs to be adjusted to bring that kind of congruency that you're looking for. And, I mentioned this yesterday, but there are just some very simple questions to ask yourself when you're trying to make those major decisions, because now is the time to be processing and making some of those major decisions that you've been looking to make in your life. Because come tomorrow, when the moon comes into Aries and our security is put in through action, there's going to be a will to act, and there's going to be an energy to want to kind of pulsate forward, and you want to get a clear idea today of where you want to direct that energy come these following days, because it's gonna get a little crazy. And we do have Mars coming conjunct Neptune. I mean, we're within the degree, and I think early tomorrow morning, maybe late tomorrow night, or tonight, depending on where you are, is when that exact conjunction is going to be happening. And it is a little bit of an activation of sorts for a lot of fast energy to come in these next few days. So again, with Neptune being the media, it's going to be important to filter what kind of media you're allowing into your brain and to exercise some discretion, to pay attention to your thought processes, and to really look at maybe where some patterns are revealing themselves that are like, oh, this is some kind of unconscious thought process that I don't know that I'm totally cool with happening in the background of my brain. And you might have to do some conscious rearrangement of that to reset yourself into a more aligned place. But the overall feeling of today can be confusing. The overall feeling can be confusing, and that's where you're going to have to turn to those thought processes and do a little quick check on those, and then be like, all right, let me start making some decisions. And I've got some clear thought. I've looked at this objectively. I've questioned if this feels divine. I've done some shadow work, and man, I hope you're doing some shadow work out there, especially because we're coming up on the solar eclipse at the end of next week, and we're literally going to be in the moon's shadow. So it's important to kind of brace yourself for some of the pieces that might come up throughout that are propulsionary to like a revolution within yourself and externally. So, but in any case, again, do some, and I've heard this going around a lot in the spiritual community, it's great advice, but do some grounding exercises, do some work on your root chakra, do some meditations. There's some great guided meditations out there that can help you just ground yourself in so you're not getting lost in all this Neptunian confusion and feeling like you don't know the answer, or maybe feeling self-defeated, or maybe feeling like you're a victim of some kind or misdirected. I don't know. There's a lot that can go on with all of this Pisces energy. And Mercury has now gone stationary before he gets ready to go retrograde later in Cancer, where he'll be for a while. So there is a lot to be said, especially with this third quarter square to the moon and Mercury getting ready to go retrograde, about doing some serious reflection and doing some serious reflection into the decisions that you've made, into the places that you've aligned yourself at this point in your life. And does it feel right to you at this point? Does it feel right? And it's okay if it doesn't. It's okay if it doesn't. With all this mutable energy in the air, the reason that it's there is so that we can make these shifts and we can make these changes. We can work with these energies in that way to propel us to that place of our most extreme dreams, right? Because Neptune does rule dreams as well. So don't necessarily, and this can be part of Neptune, don't let yourself get lost in some kind of shameful aspect of yourself where maybe you have decided to make a shift in a very serious place in your life, and it uncovered an area where you've just discovered you were living blindly out of alignment for a very long time. Don't get wrapped up in the shame and the attachment to that emotion. Allow yourself to let go of that piece and allow yourself to grow without holding on to whatever this person was that you used to be. So in any case, let me put my glasses on and we're going to pull some cards. Okay, so the first card we pulled is the Page of Wands. So yeah, there is a lot of messages coming to us right now, a lot of divine messages about a journey that we're going on, about a new experience, about taking off in a new direction, about learning something new, about expanding our horizons. You know, a page is a student of something, and a Page of Wands is kind of a student of life, you know, student of experience, a student of the world and wanting to expand his horizons in that way. He's a very curious page, and he's a very excited page, and he's a very open-minded page. I would say that he's probably maybe one of the most open-minded pages here because he's so eager to experience the truth in life and to seek that truth, and grounded in a very spiritual way as well. So let's see here what's coming up next. We pulled this card again, Eight of Swords upright. So our challenge for some of us still is in this Eight of Swords upright. It's still in taking off our blindfolds. That's been a theme. I believe yesterday we pulled Two of Swords reverse. So it was even another theme about taking off your own blindfold and making the decisions and taking yourself out of this bondage. And, you know, this can be you allowing somebody to blindly condition you into believing that you're trapped in some form or some way of thinking or some situation, that truly you have the complete power to release yourself from. A lot of mental anxiety going on for the collective. So do some checks on your mental health as well. I know that's really important to pay attention to through these times. So and you know, also with Neptune and Mars and the Moon in Pisces and Mercury stationary getting ready to go retrograde over there in Cancer, be cautious if you struggle, especially with all that Pisces energy with drugs or with alcohol or with even just toxic relationships or toxic things. That can be, the inclination can be heavy to engage with some of those behaviors throughout these times. So just know that this is a passing feeling if this is something that you struggle with, and that it is something that's planetary, and that it will pass, and that it's not forever, and that you don't need to engage in those behaviors. And even though it's heavy out there, you can reach out to others for help if that's something that you do struggle with. So in any case, let's pull one more. Yep. Some of us have fallen deep into this victim mentality. We feel out in the cold. We feel like a victim to life. We feel like a victim to circumstances. We feel lost. We feel out in the cold. And you know, sometimes when we become so accustomed to suffering, there requires a complete release and a complete collapse of that way of living to understand that you can build from better foundations, to understand that you can, you don't have to live that way, and becoming accustomed to suffering to the point where it becomes almost comfortably familiar does not have to be a way of life. We can make changes. We can make changes, and it may feel like a lot is falling apart around you, but that could just be part of the process of getting rid of some of this shit in your way. So, yeah, man, on the other side, we have the King of Pentacles. So there is absolute abundance on the other side of all of this for you. You know, the King of Pentacles, look at him. He's just draped in nature. He's draped in the divine. And I think this is another message to all of us to do some of that grounding work today. Maybe get out, put your feet in the earth. Maybe, you know, get outside and, you know, just engage with nature. Do some grounding meditations. If you work with, you know, crystals, get out some of your grounding crystals. If you work with meditation, maybe go through some of your root chakra, your sacral chakra. So definitely get into that grounding work, because this is in preparation for us to step into our own inner authority and know our worth. The King of Pentacles absolutely knows his worth, and he knows his inner divine authority, and he knows when to exercise it. And he's also very calm. He's very cool. He's very collected. This is not, he's chill. He's cool. He's laying back because he knows his values and he knows his truth, and he knows he's got a directed kind of course of action that's based out of values. So I think that's the advice for all of us as we're going through some of these changes right now. But in any case, I love you all so, so much, and I will be back tomorrow with your weekend horoscope.